What's up, guys? We are live, ready to rock. Pre-market stock stuff ran very late today, but we are on to the big dog. We are on to futures. We are on to NQ. This is the December NASDAQ futures contract. You're looking at a 5-minute chart. We're 40 seconds out from bar 13 closing up. Let's see. Context here so far, I would say, is most certainly range. But if we can get a hell of a bar on bar 14, all of a sudden, we've got something to do. Good morning, guys. How we doing? Outlaw, good morning. Lee, how we doing? Good to see everybody. All right, let's get to it. How we doing so far today? Man, fortunes can be made and lost in that first hour of the New York Open. So what's up? How we doing? Bruce! Good to see you, Sword. How we doing? All right, 14, 5 minutes out. All right, just make sure everything's set with the copier here. I think we're good to go. Question, by the way, for some of you guys. I know a lot of you guys use the Affordable Indicators copy trader like I do. Has anybody ever had it happen? Now listen carefully. This is a nuanced question. Has anybody ever had it happen with the Affordable Indicators copy trader where you had a trade on, the copy trader was turned on, you were in executions mode, and your power went out? Has anybody ever had that happen? I guess my question is, I gotta look into this in the manual. Are those orders server side or are they on my local machine? Because that is a big difference. So I've been thinking about that. Thinking about maybe switching to orders mode. But orders mode has its own problems with all copiers. You end up with partial fills, especially when you're trading as many accounts as I am. That can start causing problems. So we got to pick our poison here. If you've ever had that happen, I need you to let me know in the chat right now. And I appreciate you doing so. Just received a payout approval email just when the stream started. Good work. No coincidence. All right, 14, we're 245 out here. Again, context. This is a range. This is a trading range, about 50 points wide. And with volatility what it is, I mean, the ATR is 23. We have a lot of options. So if we get a strong bull close here, I may just have a stop limit buy. Because it's a trading range. Now, would I do this in a bear trend? Fucking damn no. Not even a little bit. But it's a trading range, so when you get a nice outside close bull body, if we get that on 14, all of a sudden I have something I could potentially put on. It's a 50-point wide trading range. Let's see here what we get. Risk is relatively small. All right, 60 seconds out here. "11 seconds out. Gotta go ahead and get the copy trader engaged in case we get a nice slow close out of the bears. We will not get it, so I see that as still, hey, trading range. Let's see what 15 brings. Now 15 here, bar 15 that is. Gives us a nice bear close. Oh, beauty. Got something to do. Take that thing lower. Oh, beautiful. Let's dump off a cliff all day. All day long. Yes, sir, John, that is correct. That is correct. Now, that setup works best in kind of a fresh, soft bear channel. If you guys have no idea what we're talking about, the video is called I think it's called one of the greatest trading setups of all time, and that is not tongue-in-cheek, that is not clickbait. Go see for yourself, run some data on it, and you'll be like, shit, I like this. Or maybe not. I don't give a shit. Just see if it works for you. Is that the name? Yes, one of the greatest price action setups of all time. Good trade setup. You just got to be disciplined if you're taking it in a more of a bear trend market. All right, 320 out. Yeah, all right, I'll pick up a couple of those uninterrupted power supplies. Now, are they actually uninterrupted? Has anyone ever had to actually use them? Did your computer still turn off and then boot back up? Because that downtime is what I want to avoid. I assume they work as intended. Lurt, good morning. All right, halfway through this 5-minute bar, let's see what 15 gives us as far as a close. All right. You talked me into it. You talked me into it. Whoever said they work in IT, tell me which one's the best. I could figure it out, but you could just tell me too. Minute 15 out. 15. Bar 15, that is. Again, if we get a nice low close here out of the bears, stop limit sell goes out, and we see what we can get. We ready, gentlemen? All right. "25 seconds out. Gonna go ahead and get the copy trader engaged. And... come on, Bears, hold that thing down. Ooh, don't mess with us. Oh, you fucking pussy Bears. I'm gonna have to get that stop limit cell ready regardless, in case we get a nice dump off here in the next 3... oh, that timer's off today, jeez. Alright, 16, what you got? Alright, so now we know the Ninja Trader timer is about 3 seconds behind today. Alright, we got power backups on the way. I actually used to have some of these, I just recalled, and they broke. And then I never fucking replaced them. That was really dumb. But it's fixed now. Alright, bar 16, what do you got? 225 out. Chris, good morning. Two minutes, retesting the 20 EMA. Okay, now the nuance here is a couple of things. We do have the 20, which has caused a little hesitation today, but it's been tested multiple times now, so it has about half the importance in my head. Just discretionary there. And then that wick high of 14. And then, you know, when you have 6 consecutive little bear bodies, granted, differing strength, I'd really prefer to see 17 be a small bull body. Small to moderate bull body closing above the wick high of 14 if I were going to get long. But ooh, let's see how this guy closes up, actually. We closed at like 45 or higher. I'd actually probably put it on here on 16. No, nothing there. All right, 17. You know, guys, don't think this way. This is just conversation. I don't think you should consider this, honestly, hardly at all for your actual intraday trading, but conversation. I really don't want to say it because I know some of you guys are going to be like, yeah, I better get short. Please don't do that. Unless we get a nice setup. But, you know, at some point you start thinking, man, eventually these bulls are just going to get exhausted, pushing into all-time highs, right? I mean, there's a lot of hesitation every time we try to retake a new all-time high, and then it pushes for a little while, and we get tiny, slow bull grinds into the all-time highs. I mean, it's like eventually the bears are going to take over, right? Which would be great for us. More volatility, the better, to a point. All right, 4 minutes out here on 17. By the way, Apex 80% off ends today. Ends today. Code BIG, 80% off, single day pass, discounted activation fees. Right now, well, I guess through the end of this sale, the activation fee for the lifetime is the same price as the monthly usually is. Usually it's 140 bucks. For the lifetime PA right now, it's 85. Which is a big difference when you're running the average cost of a funded, which you should know, by the way. Now, by the way, if you are a little newer to prop trading, how do you find that number and why do you need it? Well, you take your average pass rate on evals, and then you take your activation fee. I just go for the lifetime. I don't pay the monthly. Just go for the lifetime. If you're gonna have it for, you know, a couple months or more, just go lifetime. So if it takes you, you know, 2 evals to pass 1 on average, okay, cost of 2 evals plus the activation fee, that's your average cost to funded account. Now, you figure out, well, how much are you taking in payouts? If that number is bigger, you should keep scaling because you're profitable. This is a profitable venture. If it's not bigger, but you have reason to believe that it will be bigger soon because you have positive expected value, or you have reason to believe you are profitable, at least with a big sample size, then you should scale. All right, Bulls, minute 40 out here. Give us a nice bar 17. Treff, you should forward test, brother. Backtesting is great if you're a fucking nerd who doesn't actually trade. It doesn't matter. Forward test in the current market environment. Now, backtesting is fine if you want to get an idea, and it's important if you're an algo trader. Okay, but if if you want to actually trade, I mean, we're all fucking nerds. If you want to actually trade, hang on 1 second here. Come on, 17, let's go. Pop higher. Not gonna do it. All right, on to bar 18. There we go. If you want to actually trade and be a human trader, forward test it. Just do so with small size. Now, if you're an algo trader, you got to back test. Okay, and then forward test with small size after you back test. But the market environment is everything. So if you consider context as your first tier, then I think you're good to forward test as long as you do so with like 1 micro. Doesn't have to be for months. Just forward test. Be like, all right, I traded for a couple weeks with 1 micro. I made money. I was not stressed out, and it wasn't due to small size. It was because my decisions were easy to make. Then scale. You know when selling options makes a ton of money? When the volatility is all juiced up. When you got a lot of juice to squeeze. And when you're at all-time highs, the price is attractive, sure, but the juice is typically not all juiced up. You know when you can make a ton of money selling options? Market crashes. When everyone is flipping out. And if you have the money to do it, which I get it, like anything else, it's like, how do you make a lot of money? Step A, start with a lot of money. I get it, but once you start getting some money, man, if the market's crashing and you're like, I would not mind owning this stock at this price, and that price is 40 bucks and it's trading at 48, sell some $40 cash secured puts. The premium's gonna be all jacked up. And there's a couple scenarios. Either you end up owning the stock at 40, even if it crashes through, granted, but you already said you were comfortable at 40, or you pocket the premium and move on if it trades above 40 at expiration. All right, 18, what you got for us? On futures, no, not really. Nope. Now, if you threw it up, would I know how to use it? Yeah, of course. Listen, to me, again, I have made this comparison so many times. If you're going to trade a pre-market small cap momentum stock, the volume is like everything. It's the sample size. Because it dries up. The same way as if you're sailing on a sailboat and you're having a good Sunday and you're going to have a picnic on your sailboat and you're over a coral reef and you're newly wealthy from trading futures and you got your snorkel gear on and you're fucking shirtless looking all jacked up. Nice fresh tan. Little redness to the skin. Everything looks good. And you're about to dive in and you fucking bottom out. Sunday ruined. You should have been watching. What was your mistake? You weren't watching the depth gauge. So now you gotta take your millions of dollars and hire a captain to do that for you while you go snorkeling. Or you gotta be the captain of your ship. That's small cap momentum stocks. Now if you're in the same sailboat and you're off the coast of Japan in the Pacific Ocean, where it's however many miles deep, is the depth gauge your number one concern? Probably not. That's like futures to me. That's the way I think about it. You know, mental capital, there's only so much to go around, so focus on what matters. On futures here, to me, it's price action. All right, bar 19. See what you got. For Apex, can I pay and get the 80% off now without actually activating it? Yes, you can, but the discounted activation fee is only during the sale. Now, if they run another sale, you can activate it when the discount is when the activation fee is lower again. If when you bought the account, you did so using code BIG. Okay, so you can buy it now, get 80% off, hold it, and then when they run another sale, if you don't activate it like today, and they'll probably run another sale here relatively soon. No one knows except them. Then you can activate it then. For cheap. 85 bucks lifetime is usually what they run. Which is a monster deal. Alright, 19, what do you got? Well, what do we think of 19? I don't hate it so far, halfway through. $90 seconds. I don't mind, this would definitely be a B setup. But this is a trading range, okay? We might turn into a soft bear channel, and there's always that other side of the trade. So you always got to consider that other side. But for now, I mean, if we did get a strong bull close, that closed like here at, 53, maybe a little higher, I would be interested, but bear's stepping in. Let's see what bear's got, huh? All right, a few seconds here till the rollover of bar 19. Let's see what we get. Big old doji. All right, someone's got to have some backbone here. All right, question for everybody while we sit and wait on the close of 20, which we maybe have something, maybe not, we'll see. This, I would imagine, might be split right down the middle, but I think this is a question that every futures trader should discuss. If you could pick, now ignore everything else as far as like, oh, well, I live in a different time frame than my family, ignore all that stuff. If right now you get to pick, there's two doors. One says you trade as we currently do. You're probably sitting in your pajamas at your kitchen table, or you're at work, or you're driving. Come on, dude. You're trading and driving. Not on me, by the way. You can trade in the present manner. Or, door number 2. You're an 80s, maybe early 90s floor trader. In like Chicago, or Sydney, Australia, or something. Which is it? Which is better? This is the big question. Not that it matters, because we are where we are now. But man, this gets people riled up. Especially guys from back then. They lost their edge. There's a lot of guys who are still really pissed off that trading went upstairs. We're split right down the middle here so far. I mean, listen, there's cool things about both. There's drawbacks to both. Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, it's kind of like grass is always greener, but let's not, Man, the 80s. The 80s. The floor of the Merc. Dude, guys just went for broke. They went huge. Huge, huge, huge. Fucking screaming, shouting, fighting to get their fill. Holding 1,000 contracts. It's crazy. Now, grass is always greener, I get it. There's benefits to both, but that would be quite the experience to have. All right, there's a half reasonable close of 20, basically at the wick high of 19. Let's see what we get out of 21. You'd go crazy, can you imagine? Man, everyone on that floor would be our children. You fucking know it too. Yeah, that's interesting to see a 700 contract fill. You know, usually bigger orders are you leg in and then leg out just to get more optimal fills. So when you see bigger orders go through, it always is kind of interesting, but it does happen, particularly when volume is kind of ratcheted up. All right, 3.5 minutes out here from the close of 21. Let's see what it brings us. I have a lot of insecure back and forth here on these last 5 bars. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of guys who were very unhappy when things started going upstairs. I've never seen human beings hate is a strong word. I've never seen human beings hate technology, computers, the way that floor traders did when everything started moving upstairs. Crazy. 220. Come on, bar 21. What do you got? I gotta tell you guys, all the way back from bar, through the morning, everything was inside. Bar 5 would have needed to wait for bar 6, which ended up reverting right back into the range. Inside close, inside, coming into the 20 EMA, very large wick, inside, barely inside. HR 23, it'll clean up. You just gotta let it do its thing. Crash of 87, same thing. Same thing. A lot of people on the floor lost everything in 87. But a few guys made 9 figures. Either propping the bottom, loading the boat with futures contracts, getting probably a little lucky. But there were some traders in Chicago who propped the bottom in the 87 crash, which is insane to think about. If it weren't for the trading floor in Chicago, the 87 crash probably would have been a hell of a lot worse. All right, 22. See what you got. One second. All right, 22. A lot of insecurity here. We're 2 minutes out from the close of this 5-minute bar, bar 22, of course. And we're seeing basically a trading range. If you want to count from bar 15, you could start making the argument for a soft bull channel, though I think it's kind of early to make that argument, to be honest with you. The bar numbers below each bar or each odd bar, that's counting the bar since the New York session open to make our commentary easier and make it easier for people to ask questions. It's particularly for people in the tomb to ask questions for the tomb talk, which I do for them every day. All right, here comes the rollover 22. Big ol' inside close again. All right, ATR 20 still holding up. Alright, Bears. Time to dump this baby off a cliff. That's what we would love to see. One Eye added 10 more accounts last night with code BIG. Yes, sir. Apex deal ends today. Code BIG, 80% off single day pass. No, it's not really that simple. I'm just looking for a reasonable RAM setup, B- quality or higher to take. You guys know my minimum quality grade is approximately B-, ideally higher for the funded accounts. In evals, time is of the essence. Opportunity cost is real, so C-, maybe D+. But I'm also ruthless with my grading, so it's not really fair. C- is maybe someone else's like B. But listen, if we get 2 to 3 consecutive bare bodies and that second or third bar happens to close beneath the wick low of 16, then we got something. But that's not exactly, it's not exactly that simple. Alright, ATR starting to dip beneath 20. We're now at 19.7. Again, anything above 10, man, we can work with. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that if ATR is like 8, that it's impossible to take a trade. We could. I just covered this actually in last night's Tomb Talk. Someone asked this question, so I covered it in the video, the daily video for them. During like Asia session, ATR last night for a lot of it was 789. Contextually speaking, that's normal for Asia. During the New York session, if ATR gets down to like 6, the probability of all of a sudden things open up and it goes to 35 is a lot higher during the New York session than it is during Asia. Right, so it's different. I would rather actually trade like an 8 ATR during Asia than during New York in a lot of cases. But, of course, I'd rather trade New York in general, by far, with a good ATR of like 30 plus, ideally. But we can make 20, we can make do with 20. All right, 24, bar 24 that is. What do you got? You know, just so you guys do know, as far as like within reason, the probability here right now on bar 24, like which way does this go from here? On like a, you know, from a bit of a zoomed out perspective, like intraday, which way does this eventually go? Right now it's approximately 50-50. Now you could say it's 52-48. You could maybe make the argument that it's like 53-47, but anything below like 55, maybe 60, just to make things easy, I'm going to round off to 50-50 approximately, which means that unless, you know, we get a couple of consecutive bodies here, which we're never far away from getting, it's going to happen here relatively soon. Until that happens, unless you're really, really quickly scalping this little channel, which you can do, it's within reason to do so if you'd like, just know that the probability is lower than you'd want. So come on, market, breakout, baby. I do not care which way, just take us one way or the other. All right, I'm gonna pull the old trick out of the hat. I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes, and this market is gonna be 65 points one way or the other. All right? Got it? Hey, like the stream. What are you doing? Be right back. All right. Welcome back. Well, I said, what did I say? 65 points? We made it about 30, 35. That bounced right back. So sometimes the trick works better than others. It worked a little bit, but we are back. And I'm just looking for something reasonable, man. Just looking for something reasonable. You know, as you go throughout your career, I mean, you got to think about this, right? If there's going to be a little more edge in a higher volatility environment because pricing in the market is a little bit less efficient when volatility is higher, right? There's more little openings for you to find your edge. But when the market's slow, you know, you shouldn't take things that are straight up 50-50. But if there's a setup where you're like, I know that I make a little money on this over time, probabilities maybe 55, right? That's kind of like a minimum. And that's what I mean when I say kind of B- is my minimum in fundeds. Keeps you engaged. But you shouldn't be taking things that you think are straight up break even or negative expected value. But just because you think, you know, I think I have a little less edge on this setup than on a different one, doesn't mean you should never take it. Right? I don't want to send that message. I do think you should remain active and take setups, even if you know these pay me a little less than the other ones, but we're working with what we got. All right, bar 27 here. Let's see what it brings. All right, that right there is about the dead center of the trading range. A little higher than that, obviously. Yeah, range so far in the day about 89 points. Full New York session range, less than 100 points. But, you know, I don't think we can complain too much. ATR is 23. It's not like ATR is 7, you know? If it were 7, then we could start bitching a little bit. But 23 we can work with. The market is just... It's putting in reasonable bars. They're just going sideways. So the second this thing decides to put in 2 consecutive bodies, or widen out this range a little bit, floodgates are open. Put on some setups here. And we're never too far out. All right, 2.5 minutes from the close of our 27. I set my ATR to a period of 10, which means it looks back 10 bars on whatever time frame chart you're on. So on the 5-minute chart, when I set mine to 10, it looks back 10 bars. Now you can set it to 12 to round it out, right, to an hour. Who cares? There's nothing special about an hour, looking back an hour on the ATR. I feel like 10 bars is just kind of what I originally went with, and it works, so I like to keep it a little faster if possible anyway. Yeah, Thomas, fuck, that's a good idea. Not like I haven't had this idea, and I'm not talking about me, but... Ooh. Ooh, someone get Joel. Someone get Joel from Affordable Indicators here in the chat. The problem with all of these tracking softwares, by the way, is they don't work well with prop. Oh man, if we could have instant updating, trade tracking with prop accounts, with all of them combined. By the way, if one of you out there, I'm just gonna give this to you for free because I fucking hope you build it because I want to use it. If one of you out there is a programmer and you love trading and you want to bet and get into the prop industry somehow and contribute and probably do very well in the industry aside from just trading as well, build what I just talked about. Just do it. Just build it. And you're going to make a lot of money if you want to bet on prop. Because guys like me, I will rave about it all day long. If it's good. We need something like that. I was thinking about this last night. I was like, man, none of these fucking trade tracking softwares work well with prop. It's like no one wants to make any money. Build it. And we will come. All right, Bar 28. All right, we're 212 out. And bar 28 so far is a big inside body. Same as 25, 26, 27, 21. Well, if you're going to build it, go figure it out. I'm not your business partner, but let me explain. All these trade tracking services. Now, granted, I have not tried every single one. But you have to upload the data. They're not built for prop. They're built for personal account trading. So they're assuming kind of one account across the board. I want a trade tracking software where I don't have to do fucking anything. I take the trades, my take profit accounts go in, they get logged instantly. My Apex accounts go in, they get logged instantly. I can sort by all accounts, I can sort by take profit, I can sort by Apex, I can sort by, if I want to import eval data, I can sort by evals and fundeds. I can sort by number of payouts I've taken on that account, which would somehow get logged in, and I don't want to do it manually. If somebody built this, it would be so fucking big because I would force it on everybody. Because I'd say, this is your biggest ROI tool. All right, roll over a 28 into 29. Drac, that's not how entrepreneurship works, big dog. If it sucks, it sucks. If you build a monster service, people will want to use it. All right, 29, come on now. This is kind of crazy, huh? From bar 17 until now? ATR holding up. ATR still 21. You'll need Rhythmic and Tradeovate plugins. You might have to do something with NinjaTrader. I don't know. Because I would also like the ability to include personal data in that. This is not a small undertaking. But if you build it, traders will come. Big bar 29. All right, minute 10 out here from the close. Who's trading this channel from bar 17 until now? And be honest, are you losing or are you making money? Because I gotta tell you, when I look bar by bar from 17 all the way to now, the best probability is probably buying the close of 25, and you got a wick that took out the wick low of 16, so depending on how you manage it, it probably wouldn't have worked anyway. This is sideways. This is the probability right now is approximately 50-50. Broke even. Yeah. Alert, working for you. Good to hear it. Yes, guys. Number one pillar of RAM. I will scream this every day inside of the tomb. I will scream this as often as possible on live stream. What was your mistake, Pursuit? Everybody who did the same thing, who got tricked into thinking it'll break this time. You ignored what? Context. Context. Cheryl, good job. Context. We ignored context, right? Trading range, trading range, trading range. If we're in a trading range that's so obvious, like this one is. Now, sometimes they're not so obvious. Okay, so you got to just make the best decision you can. But when we're in a really obvious trading, and no one will tell you this. No one will tell you this. When we're in a super obvious trading range, like we currently are, if you buy right now saying, now watch, it'll break out this time. If you buy right now saying this will be the time it breaks out, your probability of being right and it breaking out and continuing and going and breaking into a kind of a bull trend is like 20%. That sucks. That probability sucks. Okay? Now let's see here. It's trying. Let's see if it can. And if it can, there we go. We got the 1/5 of the time break, but chances are it'll fade back into the range. Now, for me, when am I comfortable taking trades? Well, it's got to be at least a strong bull close outside of the range. Ideally two. Ideally two. But it doesn't have to be two. It just depends on the look. And by the way, you know, I'm not the guy that's going to say you can never trade in a trading range. That's not me. Man, you can. But if you're going to trade in a really, really, really obvious trading range like this one from bar, like you could argue from bar 19 till now, or even 17 till now, if you're going to do it, you got to bet on the trading range. It's just too hard to get a big enough reward to risk betting on the breakouts on every single attempt of the breakout while you're in a trading range. It's too hard to make the math work. Because you got to get a really big reward to risk to make up for the absolute garbage probability, which is about 20%. Depending how you manage it, of course. Pete, how do you identify this range? Whenever somebody messes up the context, I always, again, shout from the rooftops, the one thing that if you're having trouble identifying context, this helps me a lot. You gotta look at kind of the recent bars. How many? There's not a number. There's not, rules like that are impossible. Okay, because if rules like that existed, then the market would implode, because when this happens, everybody would buy and nobody would sell. That obviously isn't how the market works, okay? So you can't have just straight up rules that say do this and you'll be profitable all the time. 100% of trades, you'll always make money. That's impossible. But I look at ranges, and if I'm like, I'm not sure on the context. I always fall back to this little trick. Now listen, this is really, really helpful. Who's having an easier time making money? I'm only going to say this once, so listen. Who's having an easier time making money in the recent past today? Stop, limit, entry, continuation traders, or limit entry, reversion scalpers. Who's having an easier time making money? That'll tell you what the context is. All right, 35 seconds out here from bar 30. Or I should say the close of bar 30. And let's see what we get here on bar 30. Tempting to break out here. Let's see if we get a nice clean close out of the bulls. Then we got to watch 31. Beautiful little attempt. 15 seconds. All right, nice close there. Now bar 31 here gives us another nice green close and a nice clean bull body. Then 100% I'm breaking the ice. But you gotta be careful on that first close because those range traders might step right back in. Now if they don't and 31 closes clean, all right, I'll join them. You see that? How the bulls are kind of having a little bit of trouble there, popping this thing higher at first. I think those bears are trying to step in and say, I don't know, trading range, right? Let's see if the bulls can clean this baby up, give us a nice clean close. If they can, I'll happily challenge up here. Maybe not quite that far with an ATR of 19.7, but we'll see where this guy closes. Beautiful. See? Just a matter of time. Now let's see if the bulls can hold it here. 338 out. There you go, bulls. About time. Three minutes. All right, bulls. Calm down. Keep that right there. Keep that right there. I don't mind seeing this. Minute 50 out. All right, 58 seconds. Bulls, don't you dare come back insecure now. Don't you do that, Bulls. Hold this baby up. Shrink that wick as small as humanly possible. And let's see if I can give you guys a present. Alright, we better head to the execution screen just in case. Okay, we're 22 seconds out. Gotta go ahead and get the copy trader engaged. In case we get a last second adjustment, we are finally trying to break out to the bull side of this channel. Bar 30 was good, set us up for 31. Now let's see, we need a last second adjustment. That wick is very insecure there out of the bulls. That wick is about, what, maybe 3/5 the size of that full bar. That is bull insecurity. That's a damn shame. Let's watch 32. All right, 32, come save us here. ATR still holding 19.5. Bar 32. Close it up here in 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Is this gonna be our saving grace? Gotta see 32 close, kind of thread the needle. I needed to close above 31, the wick high of 31, just to show that the bulls are not quite as insecure as they seem. But obviously still well within that wick high on bar number 1, because that is my stop hunting zone. Man, a close right up at that wick high would just be beautiful. 2 minutes, 7 seconds, let's see what they got. Now, of course, there's always a risk here of the full day range turning into a big giant trading range. That's okay. That's the other side. I want to see if we can stop hunt that wick high of 1, because you know a whole bunch of shorts that got in between 10 and 15, 4 and 5, have their stop above what? Right above the wick high of bar number 1, the current high of day. So let's see. Is this going to be a lesson in stop hunts or a lesson in risk management? Let's see what we get. Bulls, hold it right there. No more, no more. All right, we're 27 seconds out. Copy trader, engaged. Let's go, Bulls. Looking to stop hunt the wick high of bar number 1. That's the current high of day. Need this to close nice and clean. 10 seconds here. Gonna get this ready. All right, Bulls. Place that guy right there. Boom! Give us a fill. Suck risk up. Right there is where we want that. And let's see. That stop hunt is a little closer than I would have loved to see, but I don't mind it. So, risk is small. Volatility is low. Risk about, 20-ish points on the initial risk. And ATR is 19. And we've got about 4.5 minutes left on bar 33. So come on, Bulls. Again, I want to stop hunt the wick high of bar number 1, which is right up here. About 8 points in the money, and let's see if we can get a half-decent push after we can trigger those stops if we're able to get a test out of the Bulls. That's a beautiful bull body. Now, of course, the counter side of this trade is that the full day's range, which is tight, is still less than, what are we looking at here for the full day's range? Yeah, about 90 points on the full day's range. See if we can expand that a little bit. Take out those stops. But the counter risk here is that the full day's range turns right into a big trading range. That's what we don't want to happen. Let's take out those stops, man. They're all sitting up here at 94.50 up through maybe 96.50. Come on, Bulls, let's do it to them. Beautiful setup, I gotta say, man. Man, I'll take that setup every time. Now, Bulls, let's get the job done. What do you say? What do you say, Bulls? Let's get it done. These bears think they're somebody. Trying to pull this thing back. I think the Bulls got that dog in them, man. We're going to go up, take out those wick high stops. Again, those sit at 94.50. And risk here is the signal bar, which is just about 20 points. And if the bears take that out, chop us off at the neck and we'll move on. I gotta tell you, man, I love that setup. That is a beauty. 5 consecutive bull bodies, 3 closes outside of the range, and we took the first very, very clean, reasonable bull bar stop limit buy continuation setup up through the stop hunt. My only complaint is 2 things. The day's range is kind of tight. Bears might see that. And we were, 8 points from the stop hunting zone. I would have preferred to be more like 15. But that's fine. Oh, you bears! Step on in, Bulls. Yeah, take it back higher. 35 seconds left. You're on bar 33, which is the first 5-minute bar of this trade. Of course, 32 being the signal body. And here comes the rollover. Those Bears are gonna try, man. They're gonna try. Bulls, you're not really doing your job. If we've learned one thing, man, it ain't over till it's over. Step in, Bulls! Do it to them. Take out those stops. Oh, gotta love the setup, too. It's just a beauty. All right, Bulls, what do you think? All right, Bulls, let's get a taste of those stops. Eat those guys up. All right, in the comments, in the chat, man, what do we think? The Bulls got this thing covered? Or are we cooked? You know, this is what I mean when I say that when you do your job and you have a methodology that gives you a track record, which, well, it shouldn't take you long to build up a reasonable track record, and the decision-making is easy. This is what I mean, because bar 32, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly where to put my stop. I know exactly where to look to take profit within reason. And then you just put it on. And from there, man, it's just having fun. It's just, hey, is this one going to work for us? But you know that, over a big enough sample size, you're going to do fine. You're going to do well. It's very fun. I used to not care about this, by the way, about like enjoying this. And I came to a point where it's like, dude, this isn't why I became a trader. I'm not having fun anymore. But we're having fun again. You gotta love it. That's the point, man. You became a trader to have a better life in general, right? So you want that decision making to be simple. You want to be as least stressed out as possible. Because stress can ruin your life, man. If you're stressed out all the time, all the money in the world isn't worth it if you're so stressed out every day of your life. That's not the point. You want to be you want to have easy decision making. All that to say, Bulls, damn it! Do your job. Oh, you thought 34. take this baby up through. Let's eat up those stops. There's the close of 34, big old doji. Ooh. Those bears seem curious about that wick low of 32. Let's see if they do it to us. They got the confidence? It ain't over till it's over, man. What you got, Bulls? Step on in, do your job. Still those stops. Those stops are at about 26.95. High a day, right? That's right above the wick high of bar 1. All right, Bears, you got the confidence to do it? Can you take out that wick low of 32? Which was our signal body, by the way. See the hesitation. Those bears are a little insecure. Just a little. Taking out that wick low of 32, at least right now. All right, well, we got about 55 seconds left here on bar 35. Bulls, I know you want to gobble up those stops, man. That was the idea, so let's get it done. Yeah, that's right, you bears. Stand down. That's when you know it's bad, when you start getting cocky and you're still in the red. All right, there's the close of 35. Here's the open of 36. Again, those stops are at 26.95-ish, around that region. All right, Bulls. Step in, let's do it to them. It's about that time. Boom, back in the driver's seat. All right, Bulls! Yeah, that's right. Let's do your job. Do your job, Bulls, all right? Ooh, there is the punch through the stops. No hold. Bear is trying to see that trading range. But that's not enough for me anyway. I would like to see... I'd really like to see around a full ATR. I really would like to get at least that. Bare minimum, kind of 3/4 of an ATR. Bare minimum. So there's the stop pop. At best, yeah, that's not enough. Would put us maybe 11.5 points in the money. We wouldn't have gotten a fill up there anyway. All right, Bulls. Do your job. Do your job. Take it through. That's a little hesitation there, Bulls. What's up? We don't have the guts to take it through one more time? Now the stop hunt is essentially gone. But I really don't need much. I don't need some big massive continuation. We just need a bit of a push. Alright, that's a half reasonable close out of the bulls. It is inside the wick high. You know, which is not... It's not tremendous. If you look back, you can see it's inside the high of day. Or the previous high of day, I guess. No longer. Because we're about to put in a new one, bulls! Pump this baby 400 points. Give me a whole bunch of slippage in my favor. I'm not interested in taking this off until I get at least 3/4 of an ATR. Oh, shit. Oh, baby! Oh! Hold up. We gotta flatten all. Oh my god. 7,500 bucks. What the fuck just happened? I think it flipped me. Or those were ghost orders. I gotta look back at the footage. All right. That was quite the trade there, huh? When it was all said and done, I gotta look back at the open P&L, man. When it was all said and done and the copy trader was flat, stuff like that can cause some disasters with the copier. When it was all said and done and the copier was flat, we were up 7,500 bucks. Beautiful. Moving on. All right, well, so let me think about this. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We squeezed a good chunk of what we could have gotten out of that. Now I gotta look back at the footage and see what happened, because I hit the button and I don't know if it filled both limit orders at the same time and briefly flipped me short, or if the copy trader did what it was. I gotta tell you guys, when this kind of stuff happens with the Affordable Indicators copier, listen, they don't sponsor me, they don't sponsor the channel, I have no affiliation with them. It handles it so well. It's a really good feeling to be able to trust your copier. But that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Moving on. That one came within what? 2 ticks? 2 ticks of stopping us out? Listen, guys, sometimes the trade's going to come within a tick or two of hitting your take profit, turn around and stop you out. That's okay. When that happens to you, guess what? You conveniently forget about it. We don't forget about it around here. We say, okay, all right. So when it comes within a tick of hitting our take profit, turns around, doesn't work, we're going to remember this and say, hey, happens both ways. That's okay. On to the next. What a beauty of a trade. Well, I'm gonna go hit lunch on that note. Hey, Inside of the Tomb live training today, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, noon out on the West Coast. If you're not in there already, be there. Join up. Those of you guys who are already inside, I will see you for the members only live training. And we'll be going over a backbone scenario here on the live training for the topic. What do you guys think? For the rest of you guys, I will see you back here tomorrow morning. Link to join the Tombs in the chat. Give Ram a shot, man. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think it will treat you very well if you have the discipline and the patience to trade it properly. All right, guys. What a monster on 37. I'm out of here. Trade the afternoon well. Be patient. Let it come to you. When it does, hit it hard. No fear, baby. See you in the morning.